Okay. So that's Chase. I'm going to kind of do a video of sort of where he's at and what he's going to be offered as. I'm offering him for lease or for sale as a project horse. He's not where I'd like him to be as far as my overall plan for him. I've had some more projects that have kind of taken priority over him, and he's very anxious to do stuff, and I feel bad when he hangs out ringside and looks over the fence and kind of asks, why are you not doing anything with me? And he makes me feel like maybe if I found somebody to at least play with him in the meantime till I have the time to play with him, or if I could find a good home for him that's going to keep him stimulated and happy, I would go that route as well. Little history on him, if you haven't been following his story. He came to me per the request of one of my students. He and his brother, or a pasture mate from the same breeding farm, had race careers, and then they were donated to a college, and in a short period of time he was declared not a match for the college's program, and was requested to be returned to the breeder. And that's when I was contacted, and I agreed to take him. And so he came straight from the college to here. He never went back to the breeder. He came straight here. The day he arrived, I had gotten a phone call from the shipper saying that he was leaning in the trailer and that he attempted to wrap his tail, and the horse kicked at him. So the horse came with his tail rubbed off, which I don't blame the guy to not continue to try to fix a horse's tail that's going to kick you. So it was kind of the first time I heard of any behaviors like that, but it was, my first mental note, okay, this horse would be willing to kick you. When he arrived, the breeder, or the shipper, had gotten out of the trailer, and I was holding the horse, and he goes, here, let me show you his tail, because, he had called us on his route and said that he noticed the horse had been leaning. And when he went around behind him, he took a very deliberate step towards him, showing him his tail, and of course the guy scooted out of the way, and, again, I got to witness that this gentleman did try to do something with the tail, and the horse did threaten to kick him. Upon initial inspection of the horse, he had a very severe saddle sore on his wither. Luckily, it did heal without it coming back white. I'm very glad for that, because I think that's a very unsightly thing to believe that your horse was in enough pain that it grew back white because it was rubbed below the hairline. He had two very deliberate, very distinctive pitchfork marks in his hind end that were not fresh from his travel to here. These were pitchfork marks that were healing, so I was not pointing my finger at anybody in particular about that, but now that I've learned what he's like in his stall, I could see how somebody who is responsible for maintaining the cleanliness of his stall, if they went in his stall with him in there and he threatened them, I can see where somebody would come up with that as a way to defend themselves. I do not condone it, but knowing how he is in his stall, I can believe that would be somebody's form of defending themselves. So, going on to his stall management, he's very aggressive in his stall, or should I say was very aggressive in his stall. He did not like you even looking into his stall. If you didn't pass quickly, he reacted to your presence just outside of the stall itself. When I would attempt to clean his stall with him in it, he would come at me, whether it be baring his teeth, threatening to kick, or whatever. Now I can clean his stall, pick up a pile of manure that he just left, a second earlier, hasn't walked away from, and is still laying behind him, and I can go in and clean that pile up. I don't fully trust him in his stall, so I'm not sending a horse that I say is completely fixed when it comes to cleaning his stall with him in his stall or doing anything to him with him in his stall. That is his personal zone, and that's the zone I allow him to have. He is the head horse of a herd of 5 and or 4, I'm sorry, and he's a gentle herd leader, although I have seen him suggest they move, and when they don't move, I have seen him say, I've got more power than you think, and I've seen him attempt to kick in the direction of, but never make contact. Grooming. This is why he's out here dirty right now, is because I'm going to show you where he's come from his grooming. Grooming, he was not a horse that would allow you to groom him without him threatening to kick you or bite you. He has changed in that department as well. He did not allow you to go past his wither without attempting to kick you or do something in an aggressive, defensive way. I noticed that he had a hitch when he came in his hind right, which is the one that has the cornet band white. He has a stifle condition. It means that it's not even severe enough that the vet would consider injecting his stifle. It just requires him to be in shape, which he is not. So you will see that in this video, a slight hitch in his hind right. That is what that is, and the prescription for that, the treatment for that, is exercise, which he only gets in the paddock, so I'm not even doing right by him as far as that's concerned. So that's another reason he needs a job. He needs to be more comfortable, physically more comfortable. He wears 4 shoes because he did at one point, he's going to get really dirty on me in a second. He did at one point, he came barefoot with very badly cracked feet, and I tried to get away with that and condition his feet and keep them very diligently trimmed, and he still ended up very sore in the front, so I went ahead and put front shoes on him. It wasn't much longer than that I realized he also needed hind shoes. So he is a horse that requires 4 shoes all year round. Just kind of a heads up. He is an expense that way. He's not on any supplements. He's not taking any injections. I've had many... He started off with a very bad attitude about a lot of things, and I wanted to make sure before I started working with him that I was ruling out any pain issues. So he has had 3 vets look at him on a evaluation level for pain, and every vet has cleared him for pain. And he did a lameness evaluation, and it was deemed that he has a out of condition stifle, and like I said, the treatment and or prescription for that would be exercise. Chiropractor came out, and she went over him and got as far back as a spot on this spinal rib here in the backside, and it was deemed that he has had a broken rib at one point. It's an old injury, does not bother him, but it was something he was protecting, and she was unable to get past that because he kicked at her several times before knocking her off her box, and she had concluded she was not comfortable continuing to do his procedure that day. We put him on some Chinese herbs. I worked very hard on correcting his attitude, and has since been able to have the chiropractor come back out and officially clear him of any pain or discomfort. So we're dealing with a horse that, as far as evaluated for lameness, he does have a stifle that just requires him to be worked and conditioned. You'll see it. Other than that, he was cleared completely of not having any pain. He's had his teeth done twice in a year. And one vet said he had a wave bite and would need it done every 6 months, and the other vet said it's really not that bad. I wouldn't need to do them again in 6 months. We'll check anyway, but so it's possible he would require a 6-month routine floating. So we're going to go ahead and catch him and get some of that dirt off of him. I'm glad I didn't groom him first. And we'll see where he's at, and you can kind of get an idea of how much of a project he might be for you if you were considering him as a lease or a purchase. I would like to see him being used where his athleticism is being taken advantage of. He's very, very athletic, and he's the kind of horse that he's out with some really mellow guys, and he's always looking to kind of get into trouble because he's always looking for somebody with a higher energy to play with, and they really don't really feel like playing with him. They tend to kind of brush him off, but he can get him rolling. And when he does, he has his antics. He jumps around and rears and bucks and, does kind of very athletic behavior. So I think if I was to choose the right person for him, it would be somebody who enjoys hunter pace, who enjoys riding hunters or jumpers. I really do think that that's going to be his calling. I don't think Western pleasure. I don't think just dragging his nose on the ground and trotting so slow you don't know that he's actually trotting. I don't think that's going to be this horse's calling. So I'm not trying to discourage anybody from what they like to do with their horse, and I'm not trying to say he's not the good match, but I think as much as he wants to use his athleticism when he's out on his own, I think that somebody that would really tap into that is going to be the better direction for his next move. So let's get catching him and see if we can get him groomed up for you, and I'll throw a bareback pad on him and see what he's like. I've only sat on him bareback once. Never ridden him bareback. I've ridden him in a saddle because I don't know enough about him, and you find out he didn't work out in a in a schooling program. You wonder what that really means when they say he's not a match. I feel that maybe something wasn't disclosed, so I handle him very carefully because I'm not 100% sure why he wasn't a match. So the only reason I'm sharing his grooming process with you is just because I want to show where we've come. If you look back at his history, you'll see where he's come from. I see he's got kind of a knot right now on his wither here, or just behind his wither. There might be a bug bite. So I'm not sure if that's going to cause him any discomfort now or not. Hopefully not. Trying to do anything back here would have resulted in at least a swish of the tail or a threat of a kick with this hind foot that I'm at right now. Once I thought he was really doing good, it's when I was comfortable with him only swishing his tail. So the fact that he doesn't even do that anymore is huge. He's not as sensitive on this side of his body as he is on the other. The other side is the side that has the rib that we discovered is an old injury. We looked up his race name to see if he'd ever been pulled up in a race. That tail swish is about a bug. That's not about me. He lifts his right hind leg up when that tail swish means anything. We did not find that he had been pulled up in a race or anything for injury, so we don't know or even can speculate how the rib injury came about. However, we do know that it's old and it's not something that's actually bothering him, but he did show signs of being protective of it. So again, the only reason I'm wasting your time grooming him is to show you that he has come a long way about being able to be groomed. If you watch his original videos, I have a YouTube page that dedicated to his journey, and it's entitled Chase's Emotional Rehabilitation Journey Journal, something like that. He really ground this gray dust into him. So, unfortunately, I'm not getting that off him as easily as I thought I would. I believe his full name is Art du Jour, might be Brave Art du Jour. His name was Brave Art when he arrived, and because of the investigations of whether or not his attitude problem was pain related, yes, my stop sign is used as a local dragway. Anyway, so his name was Braveheart, and he seemed to have been spending quite a bit of money on him with all the vet visits and the chiropractor visits and shoes, and so I changed his name to Chase because he became the most expensive horse in my barn, and my bank is Chase, J.P. Morgan Chase. So that's how he ended up getting the name Chase, right? That's where your name comes from. I know. Your face brush. Huh? Good boy. So I am going to shorten his mane today. What was that about? What is that about, huh? I am going to shorten his mane today. Because I do think if he has a long mane, it just might appeal to the Western industry a little bit more. Dude, you really ground that like gray sand in, huh? Now you can stop doing that. That's kind of unacceptable. So he's giving me little warning nips, and he's kind of never done that before. So he better not do it again. He didn't actually bite me. There was no contact with my skin either time. But I swing around 2 times and kind of take my clothes. I do believe in horses figuring out ropes on the ground more than I panic when they step on a rope. Like I said, he has 4 shoes. He's good for the farrier. He's good for the vet. A rock jammed in there. There we go. Ooh. You're all right. Wow, that went right down in your frog. Wow. What happened there? Sorry about that, buddy. So wow. His frog was extremely soft that my hoof pick kind of went right down into his frog there. Getting a lot of rain here lately, so kind of keeping their feet moist. So I just pinch his chestnut, get him to pick his foot up. I don't lean on him or cluck at him or anything really overly physical. Okay. So, kind of got a little bit of a taste of what's still in the background there, as far as his thought to nip at me. I've never actually gotten nipped by him before, so that was kind of new. And I don't want to say it seemed playful, because that's not fair to say, because it's still in response to being groomed. So I'm going to still say it was protest. But I am going to also say that if he committed to biting me, he would have bit me. He didn't commit to biting me either time. I'm going to go ahead and shorten this today, so I'll still pull these knots out, though. What you got going on here, buddy, huh? There we go. Nope, there's another one. Yep, there's another one. What you got going on, huh? You grinding that dirt right in there. Good boy. As I rake through his mane, he's being pretty good about that. Got like a little bird's nest going on over here. Okay. He's good about being fly sprayed. You know, I don't want to hide anything because I don't want the wrong person to take him, you know. But I'm also going to show you where his strengths are. So, one of the things I taught him online, how to lower his head when he's trotting. And the reason I taught him that is I teach all the horses that, is I want them to stretch their own top line, warm up their own back. So I'm going to ask him to go out on the circle, and it's probably not very long before I'm going to ask him for the trot, and then pretty immediately he should put his nose on the ground. Ooh. What was that, huh? He's a good boy. Yeah. He's come a long way. I'm very pleased with where he is, but I'd love to see somebody spend a little more time with him than I've been able to. Okay, gonna ask him to go out on the circle. Now, if you look back at his old videos, he always had a really nasty expression on his face. When I ask him for the trot, I should expect a nicer expression than wanting to go after me. That's a pretty nice expression. Gonna ask him to walk. So I'm gonna ask him to walk. He was trying to be good by coming in. Gonna ask him to change directions because he made an assumption that I wanted him to trot and I didn't. Now I'm gonna ask him to trot. Might have to correct that little pop of the chin. Gonna ask him to put his head down, head down, head down, head down. I'd like it further down. Head down. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. And I'll... Woo! Good job. So now I'm going to put him out on the circle by himself because he likes to stay close to me when I'm online. Which is fine, but I want to kind of demonstrate what he knows how to do a little bit. So I'm going to ask him to back up, back, 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 Go that way. So he still should put his head down once he's out there. He shouldn't have nothing to do with his line. Shouldn't have anything to do with him being on line. I'm gonna send him out though. So that was not acceptable for that. So I'm gonna get after him a little bit for that behavior. Ask him to put his head down. Now I'm gonna invite him in. Good job. Oh, my earrings are banging. So go ahead and send him out the other way. Ask him to trot. Nice expression. He thought to have a nasty one. Ask him to put his head down. Head down. Head down. Good job. Ask him to come in. Here. Okay. Good job. Send him the other way. This time I'm going to ask him to canter. Ask him to come in. Now, he's not a horse that likes to be done, so you don't really reward him much by petting him. So he likes his forehead rub, but right now he lost some fur on his head, and I'm not sure what's going on there. So I don't know if it would be nice for me. I think he rubbed it on something, so I don't know if it hurts or not. So I'm going to ask him to go out that way. Ask him to trot. Ask him to canter. Woohoo! Ask him to come in. They feel good, huh? Playing? You get to play a little bit, huh? Good job. Good job. Go ahead, put him back on line. I'm going to put that bareback pad on him. Show you what he knows to do with the mounting block. I use a wither pad under my bareback pad because there's a stitching spot on it that looks like it would be uncomfortable. So I just try to protect their withers from that particular spot on the, it's really like a sewn spot. So he's not threatening to bite me. I'm just letting him know that that wouldn't be acceptable if he thought about it. Like that wouldn't be acceptable. All I did was part his lips, but it was enough for me to... Now, I know you weren't liking that. Again, I'm not hiding anything about him. I was taking a long time. He would have been cooperative had it not taken me. It's a new girth that's It's like got a double step on it if you have a regular Latigo. This is like a cheater Latigo, so I went in the wrong hole, so I was taking a little bit longer than he was appreciating. But I'm not excusing him. I'm not trying to excuse him. I'm not trying to hide anything about him. Okay, so his mounting block work trying to think what shows the best movement. Probably on that angle. Maybe not. What shows them doing their job the best might be that angle. I'm not sure. So I'm going to go ahead and ask him to step up here to the mounting block. I make a lot of noise. It's my way of kind of saying this is the game that we're going to play. Ask him to step up. Step up one more. Step up. Step up. Step up. Step up. Good. Good. Let him know however I can where it's not mean that that's what I want. He's looking at me, but now I'm a little more cautious of, is he going to part his lips today? Because he has, and he hasn't done that ever before, so. Okay, gonna go ahead and take him away. I work with my mounting block as its own individual thing. I don't want the horses to always associate mounting block means getting ridden, especially if they have an opinion about being ridden. So I always want my mounting block to be something by itself. So now we'll show you what he knows as far as stepping over to the mounting block. I'm going to ask him to back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Good. And now I'm going to ask him to step over. He's a little rusty on this, so I'm going to go ahead and help him. Over. 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 Good boy. Over. You're right. You're right. Over. 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 We've worked a lot on lateral flexion, so that's why he overflexed just a second ago. He'll do it again, I'm sure. Over. 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 Good. Ask him to back up. Good. Like I said, he doesn't really like being pet, so it's kind of hard to reward him. I mean, he's not responding negatively, but I just kind of know that about him. He's not really the big fan of being loved on. Although somebody came over the other day and was really scratching in his mane, and he was actually asking for her to do it again, so that might be a nice reward. So let's see if he'll over to me for that. Come on, over. Hey, hey, pay attention. You're okay. Over. No, no, it's the wrong way. Over. Over. No, wrong way. Over. Hey. There you go. Nope. 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 So I'm receiving this as much more protest than lack of understanding. Over. 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 So I'm going to go ahead and remind him from the ground real quick, because I feel as though he's protesting more than he's pretending to not understand. Over. 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 Nope. 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 Over. Yep. Yep. Over. Good job. Good. Something in it for him. Let him think that. Let him believe it. Let him know it. Good job. Okay. Okay, my sunglasses were sliding down my face yesterday. I'm hoping that they don't again today, because that was really distracting. And I was on a horse that was struggling a little bit. So hopefully it doesn't happen with this guy too. So I've never ridden him bareback, mainly because I believed him to have a history of some kind of behavior, and I didn't know what that behavior was. I have sat on him bareback. In fact, just the other day, he's just looking at me. He's not protesting anything I'm doing. The first time I put my foot in the stirrup, he had a very, very, very bad reaction. Maybe see if we can find that itchy spot again. Let him know that we're up here to be partners, friends. We're not up here to do to him. I'm gonna ask him to walk off. Might ask him to go ahead and bend around to my toe. Good. Ask him to bend around to this toe. Good. Little neck pop. Good. See if I can ask him to step off now. I'm just flapping my legs. I'm not actually kicking him. Good. He knows what the kisses are. He's standing here getting himself a little irritated with me. Now I'm actually kicking him. Chase. Come on. Good. So I'm not going to reward every step as it goes on an individual level, but I'm just going to let him know, yeah, you got it. That's what I'm asking for. You know, I treat him a lot like he's a new start. Good. Good boy. Let him settle into a walk. Good job. Have you thought about being naughty just now? Think about being naughty? No. Thing about being naughty. Good job. Not trying to make him mad, just trying to get him to do as I ask, and he's... Chase. Come on. Chase. So I'd love for him to settle into a walk. Chase. Now I'm actually kind of squeezing on him. Good boy. There you go. Good boy. So he's fighting with me a little bit on the steering because he's thinking about being naughty. So I'm kind of just trying to distract him a little bit with some extra steering.